Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. Well, today we're looking into the world of single-tenant net lease investment properties. And as you know, we like to get different perspectives on our topic each week. Please welcome my next guest, Brett Dargis. He's Director of Development with Hutton. Hutton is a development, a construction company, a real estate company. They've completed over 912 projects in 35 states of single-tenant net lease properties. Brett, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me on the show, Michael.
Well, Brett, as we've just heard from Nancy Miller, the single-tenant net lease investment market is still really hot with investors right now. How is this investor demand impacting the development side of single-tenant net lease properties?
Well, you know, Michael, what we're finding on our development side is that whereas in the past we would have a tendency to hold product that we would develop, it seems like more often than not these days, Hutton is in the business of, as well as developing and building, because as you know, Hutton owns a construction company as well. We're finding that it has become very advantageous for us to then go to the investor community after opening the various stores that we build and selling in that market to the whether it's a 1031 investor or an institutional investor. So it's become much more lucrative for us than to hold on to properties for cash flow.
Well, I think that's smart. I mean, if you look at the buyer demand you have right now, the low interest rates that folks can lock in, and you look at maybe the potential for interest rates rising in 2015 and how that might impact values, I think that's smart and a great idea to be thinking of considering selling some of these properties. And let me ask, I know you do a lot of QSR properties, quick service restaurants. What are some of the factors related to QSR properties that make them a little different than others?
Well, you know, Michael, some of the things that I run into that Hutton is not been involved in the past is working with the franchisees in the franchise world, and especially in QSR, where you typically have possibly a family that owns the company, and they're doing this as a family business as opposed to a corporation, a Taco Bell or a Burger King, if you will. And so it becomes a lot more personal for them, both the real estate development and construction of a unit. And so it takes probably a little more hand-holding on the side of us as a developer to help them through this process. A lot of the franchisees out there are very good at doing what they do, which is making food. Mm-hmm. But that development process of getting new units open, which they're quite honestly, required to do quite often in their franchise agreements, they're not familiar enough with it to get it done, and could be a little bit daunting for them. And so they will really look to us much more so than corporations to help them through that process.
I see. And what are you seeing for volume, the trend there for volumes? Are you seeing more expansion? Is it leveled out? What do you see?
Right now I see a lot of additional expansion going on from certain concepts in the business. There are the quick serve business is cyclical, like restaurants in general and like retail in general. But as certain concepts kind of quiet and maybe focus more on renovations and changing menus and whatnot, other concepts seem to fill the void of the expansion. So, we have a term called emerging brands that we use quite a bit, and that list of emerging brands and hot emerging brands seems to change year to year, a year maybe being the cycle. And so a lot of those emerging brands might be coming up and doing 200 or 300 new units in the country, whereas other concepts might be leveling off a little bit.
Do you expect the volume to increase in 2015? I mean, we need more product. Are these
we
QSR?
Always need more restaurants.
Yeah.
With the change in the consumer's attitude towards eating out more, and the convenience of QSR, and the quality of the QSR concept, becoming better. I think that there's quite a bit of demand in 2015 and probably 16 as well for continued expansion of that concept.
What are the top 3 quick things that make a QSR site attractive to a tenant?
I think the top is going to be traffic. Number 2 is going to be households or rooftops. Number 3 is going to be income. And with a QSR, all these things are much more direct. If you take a casual diner or even a family buffet or something like that, their 5-mile radius is very important to them. A QSR really focuses on a 1 mile or even in some cases a half a mile radius. You look at, sometimes you'll see a McDonald's, literally 4 or 5 blocks from another McDonald's. They both might do $2.5 to $3 million in sales.
That's right. Well, Brett, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Michael. It was great talking to you.
Well, stay tuned. We'll have more on the single-tenant net lease investment market. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty Commercial Advisors, a great place to do business. Visit bullrealty.com. RealNex, a comprehensive and powerful suite of commercial real estate tools at an incredibly low price. Visit realnex.com. That's REALNEX. FIU, Florida International University. Earn your master's in real estate in as little as 10 months without interrupting your career. Visit FIUonline.com. Xceligent, the resource professionals use for commercial real estate information. Visit xceligent.com. That's XCELIGENT. Commercial Search, the source to market and source available properties for sale or lease. Visit commercialsearch.com. For more information on these great companies or for additional videos, podcasts, or articles, visit CREshow.com.